I think the real success on this CII partnership summit that we are having in Visakhapatnam is not in terms of value, how much investment is going to come to Andhra Pradesh, but in terms of the participation and the engagement and the commitment shown by the people that have come here. So on behalf of the entire arrangements that have been done here, I would like to thank each and everyone who has made time to come here to participate in this event and have made this a huge success. And now, like I've said, the whole success of this event, I was able to see one magic again. The magic again is the magic of our Honorable Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu garu. How he does it at that age of 75 years, doing it again and again, with the same commitment, with the same enthusiasm and with the same energy is something which is very, very inspiring even for me today to be working with him. Because I've seen him over the last 12 to 13 years of me coming into politics. I've seen him go through different challenges, politically, professionally, personally. But the way he takes these challenges or tackles these challenges as a way of an opportunity, I think that is a great learning lesson for someone like me and also people at large. So I was able to see that magic. So it has been a personally very enriching time for me to be participating in this moment. And now coming to the important subject of aviation, I have to tell you that when I became this minister, I was assured by our Honorable Chief Minister and also our Prime Minister that they will be giving me a ministry. The expectations were many. Which ministry are we going to get? And many people were thinking about all the ministries, and civil aviation was never in the question. And when civil aviation was given, I was also slightly clueless on what the ministry is going to be and how do we deal with it. Because I was also with the idea that maybe some other portfolio is going to come. There were other things in mind. But now I can proudly say that this is one of the best ministries that anyone can deal with. And the way the sector has been progressing in the last 11 years under the visionary leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, I can stand here very proudly and say that in the whole world, this kind of success India has seen in aviation, no other country has seen. That is where we stand today. We are the third largest aviation market in the whole world. And the capacities that we are dealing with, 74 airports in 2014. 74 itself is a very huge number, and people would have said that we have 74 airports, good connectivity all across, so we can just slow down a little bit, but that's not what happened in 2014. Because our Honorable Prime Minister understands that if we want to achieve Viksit Bharat, if we want the country to grow both inclusively and exclusively, domestically and both internationally, connectivity is the key. You study any country across the world which have achieved tremendous success in the growth story of their country, then you would see that the propellant has always been logistics. Either road sector, railway sector, air connectivity or ports. One of these have been the major driving sector for any growth sector that you would have seen. So this was the understanding and this was the vision our Honorable Prime Minister had. And he has taken aviation as one of the core subjects, and he has given it such a good drive in the last 11 years that 74 airports in 2014, now we are 164 and counting. That is the magnanimity of the growth that we have seen in this country. Now with 164 airports also, I would also like to simplify my speech and just give you a little bit of insights into what we are going ahead with. We have seen tremendous success in the last 11 years, but what we want to see is continue on that progress. 10 to 12% growth rate, that's what we are seeing in civil aviation today. So on one stage, we want to continue the growth story that we have achieved. And on the second side, while we are going, we want to transform the sector also. As we are transforming, we see in terms of the services that we are giving to the passengers and in terms of the manufacturing ecosystem that we have in the country and the future technologies which have the capacity to change the way we are seeing and visualizing civil aviation. All these things we want to have the platforms built in the country itself. So as we are progressing, we want to transform the sector also. I've given you the number of airports that we have seen in the country and some other statistics. If you see in 2014, there were around 1.8 lakh domestic passengers in the country. And today we have on an average of 4.6 lakhs, kind of 3 times, 1.8 lakh to 4.6 lakhs today. And almost 5.3 lakh people flew on November 10th. 5 lakh people traveling in a single day in any country seems to be the magic figure. It is an achievement where most of the countries are like ambitious to achieve that, but we every other week we are touching the 5 lakh number today, and on November 10th we hit the highest point of 5.3 lakh passengers. And domestic passengers from 6.7 crores in 2014, we have grown up to 7.2 crores. And international passengers from 4.5 to 7.2 crores. Domestic flights, the number of flights that are moving around is from 6 lakhs in 2014 to 11 lakhs in 2024. And the international flights, the Indian carriers are 1.1 lakh flights in 14 to 2 lakh flights in 2024. So if you look at all the numbers, they have kind of doubled in the last 11 years. So the push has been not only to build the infrastructure and the ecosystem, but whatever existing infrastructure is going to build on the capacity, we have tried to expand it and do it, and that is the vision that we have for the future. Like I've said, we are at 164 airports today. So how do we move ahead in the future? We are seeing that India has come to a position where we have to rethink on how we are looking at airports. Till now, when we are looking at an airport, we are packing up 1,000 acres or 1,200 or 1,500 acres of land, and we are saying this is where the airport is going to come. It's going to have a runway which is where the big flights are going to come, small, everything is going to come, and then there's going to be a terminal, big terminal, and all those things. But now we feel India should move into the idea of having hub and spoke model. So we have the metropolitan airports where they are going to be the hubs like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Kolkata. These are the major airports that we have which are handling crores of passengers every year. And then we have the other airports. And the other airports are supposed to be the feeding system into these major airports and let them create their own hubs. So when we are trying to do this, then we have come up with the model saying that, see, when you are trying to build airports in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, they don't need to have such big, huge land bank in there, this thing. So what we are trying to design now, in the way we are looking at airports, is we are going to classify them as mega airports or large airports. Then we will have medium airports and the small scale airports. So once the idea around building an airport, we have these different sectors, then we can go with the idea of how much land is required for that airport. Suppose it's a tier 2 city. No matter how much you want to grow the passenger capacity, there is always going to be a mega airport which is close by, where it is more convenient for people to travel from there to any part of the world or the country. So it is easier to start and have a small airport itself. Then how do we construct the small airport? So what is going to be the ecosystem? What are going to be the parameters? What kind of flights are going to come? What is the terminal building capacity that you want to handle? So an interesting intervention that we are trying to do now for the future airports that we are going to build is classify them as large, medium and small airports. And the other introduction that we are doing is cargo airports also. We believe the unutilized sector in the Indian aviation market today is how we are imagining the cargo sector. We don't have the policy of immediate courier of things where you want to see them done in 24 hours. If you have had the experience of United States, then you have the express delivery. Within 24 hours, you order something or you want to get something, you are able to ship it within 24 hours, you're getting with the convenient fees that is going to be added to it. But India doesn't have that. We are just ordering and it's coming at its own time. So the mindset of having it as an express delivery, that can only be achieved if you can crack the Indian air cargo model. And for that air cargo, when I see it to the airports, and GMR is also running the airports, the major concentration is on the civil operations. Their major concentration is on the passengers, because they are very sensitive element. You have to take care of them. And when it's up with the existing passenger network, if you want to do the cargo always takes the back seat, and you are not able to create the proper ecosystem through which cargo can also flourish. And the most important thing there is to bring down the costs. The costs as compared to the rail and the road. Today, rail and road is giving a tough competition. Under Modi ji, even the rail network is spreading across all the country. Even Northeast is having a rail network now, which was unbelievable before. And you are seeing the roads also, how Gadkari ji is expanding 2-lane to 4-lane, 4-lane to 6-lane, 6-lane to 8-lane. So everything is getting faster, all the other networks. So only way we can compete with the existing networks in terms of cargo is how do you make it more economically viable. So to crack that model, we also felt that you somewhere need to have cargo airports. This is what happens in the US, where FedEx has a separate airport just to handle cargo. And with an ecosystem, with a population of 140 crore people and such huge economic demand and big GDP country that we have, why can't we have cargo airports? So that is one intervention that we are going to do. We are going to select some areas dedicatedly and make them cargo airports. And also in the existing airports. Now what do we do with the existing airports to prepare cargo? So now you know that our Honorable Prime Minister, just to promote products according to the region, he has started one district, one product. So we are trying to streamline the ecosystem in a district so that all the people who are there get connected to producing or developing or creating a certain product, and that gets connected to the whole ecosystem there, and that specialization and the expertise in developing that product comes in that area. So similarly, taking that idea and stretching it into aviation, just like how we have one district, one product, now all the airports we are trying to analyze them with a concept of one airport, one product. So what is the best product that is available near that airport? And in the cargo ecosystem of that airport, you create all the necessary elements so it gets streamlined. Now you have like Vizag airport, there's a lot of pharma that is happening. For pharma, you need cold storage, you need a specific way of handling that cargo. So why not concentrate and improve the necessity around that? There are some airports where there is aquaculture happening, so that requires a certain expertise. There are some airports where there is a flower market there and the flowers are supposed to be exported to other countries also internationally. So how do you develop the cargo ecosystem in that airport so that it gets specifically designed and streamlined for a certain product? So one district, one airport, one product is another concept that we are working on. These are some of the airport related concepts that we are working on. Other than airports, which is the infrastructure, we are looking into the passenger amenities. Passenger services, that is the topmost priority. The moment I have taken charge as the Civil Aviation Minister, I told the country and the people of this country that no matter what kind of policy we bring in, whatever we do, at the core of our policy making is going to be the people of this country, the passengers of this country. And it is with that idea and attitude that we have worked out. And the special intervention which we have done and which I am also very, very proud of is the Udan Yatri cafes. You would have never imagined, because this was the feedback I got and I have also personally seen, I have learned it from the passengers. Udan Yatri Cafe has been such an intervention in the country. We have given these Yatri cafes where the tea is going to cost you 10 rupees, and this is in an airport. Coffee is going to cost you 20 rupees. A samosa is going to cost you 20 rupees. Have you ever imagined going to an airport and drinking a tea for 10 rupees? And it's a high quality tea, not just a regular tea that you are going to get. These are airports, but because we are seeing, I've told you the numbers of how passengers have grown. Today, air travel is not only for the elite or the luxury people. India wants to have the lower income, neo-middle class, the lower income groups, middle class groups, they also have to come into this air travel network. That is the advantage this country has, is the capacity. Now to bring them, Honorable Prime Minister has created the Udan ecosystem and the Udan scheme, through which the unserved and underserved airports of the country we were able to connect by offering some viability gap funding. And through that, tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities, where there was a challenge of connecting the flights to those cities, now they are properly connected, well connected to the large cities and the other tier 2 cities. Now the other problem that we started experiencing in that is when these lower income groups are coming into the airport, they were finding it challenging to buy something if they are extremely hungry. The kind of prices they were having at the airports, then they were finding it extremely challenging for them to buy something. Then we thought there was an intervention that is required here, and we started the Udan Yatri cafes. We started one in Kolkata airport last year, and the celebrations of 100 years of Kolkata airport, and the kind of success we have, the response that we have achieved from the people was tremendous and unbelievable. It was the top sales store in that airport itself, which was the Udan Yatri Cafe. And then we started getting calls from all airports that we want a Udan Yatri Cafe here and there, and we have been doing it consistently in all the airports, and that is one intervention that we are going to do. In all the airports in the country, wherever you go, you will find one Udan Yatri Cafe where tea is going to cost you 10 rupees, coffee is going to cost you 20 rupees. So that is the intervention that we are bringing in the Indian airport system. And the second thing that we want to do, an initiative, very small initiatives, but this is how much we are trying to care for the travel of the passengers. There is a concept called Flybrary. This was started in Bhubaneswar Airport. So there is a rack where there are books. So these are all free books that the airport is giving it to you. The rack is there. The passenger who is traveling, he can go to the rack, pick a book of his choice, study while he is traveling, and there is going to be a drop-down rack at the destination airport, and once he is done with it, he can just place it there and he can make it usable for the next passenger that is going to go. So there is no need of buying any books. This is as you go, you can find your book of choice, you can read it as you go and you can drop it off, and we are calling this Flybrary. We have started this in 2-3 airports, and this is an ecosystem that we want to spread across all airports. Then we have the same concept of the one district, one product. The products which are very geotagged or geographically identified to that specific location, we want to create the same network in the airport where you go to a certain area, you want to buy the best product of that area. And you want to buy which is locally made by the women that are there, by the self-help groups that are there. So we are bringing in another concept of having these local stores which is going to sell you the local products. So these are some of the initiatives. And then we have play areas also in the airports which are dedicated for the children that are going to come there. So all the service-oriented activities, we are going to transform them so that it becomes more convenient for the passengers who are traveling. One thing we all see when we are going to the airport, we are going through the traffic, we are trying to catch the flight, there shouldn't be any delay. No, we hope that the gates don't close by the time you go there, and you probably want to go a little bit early so that you can buy that extra meal in the airport and eat something. So it is always a very anxious affair. Whenever you go into the airport, you are hurrying and your mind is on the nervousness that gets created, the anxiety that gets created. So we want to create these airports as a less anxious, less nervous, it should be a nervous-free zone. So we are bringing in a lot of concepts. Psychologically, we are trying to build the airports in such a way that your whole, your anxiety at the airports gets down. So these are some interventions that we are going to do in the future, and some opportunities that are there in aviation. Especially I see a lot of young people that are there here wondering, what can I do with aviation? So there are multiple concepts. One, the technologies that are associated with aviation, the engineering that is associated with aviation, it is continuously evolving. When there is an upgrade in technology, the first sector that gets affected, or the first sector where there needs to be a change, is aviation. So there is a lot of opportunity for tech-related people to continuously associate with this sector and bring in new technologies, right from dealing with the aircrafts, their movement, traffic control, and right from operating in the airports, creating digital twins, creating a better model ecosystem for flow of things in the airports, and many other areas where technology can do a change. So this is one area where people can work in. And the second thing is manufacturing. We have an ecosystem of around 400 to 500 MSMEs who are supplying global standard products which go into the manufacturing of an aircraft, like Airbus, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and other engine manufacturers. They are all procuring now components from India. So this is a major change that we have brought in the country under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister. We have made the country an attractive destination for manufacturing. With the idea of Atmanirbhar Bharat, we are developing the whole manufacturing ecosystem into a new level where people are willing to trust India to get their products manufactured here. So we have $2 billion market right now where the aerospace components, aircraft components are getting manufactured here. By 2030, we have a target that this should go up to $4 billion, and we are very much on the track. And this is an area of investment that people can make to explore and see how you can use this ecosystem that is getting built up and make more parts which go into the aircrafts. So this is one area. And then from the ministry, we have another goal, a prime goal of having a full aircraft designed and manufactured in the country itself. That is a long-term goal. It has been there for a long time, but no considerable filling up of the gaps. But now we see that India has come to the stage where we can manufacture, we can design, we can maintain our own aircraft today. So that is one area we are actively working on. I want to see more investment coming into this area of manufacturing either components or either aircrafts. I see a lot of interest in this area, so that is one area where people can look into in the future also. And there are new technologies that are there. Drones, you have all seen, our Honorable Chief Minister also continuously talks about it. Civil operations, defense operations. You have seen in Operation Sindoor how important it is for a country to have the drone ecosystem in a very strong and very comprehended manner. And now defense sector, we are seeing a lot of investment in drone sector and also civilian operations, because the ground level utilization of drones from agriculture, sanitation, law and order, construction, land management, there are multiple numerous amount of advantages that drones have. So drone infrastructure is something which we are actively looking in for investments, and the state government has been very active in making the drone city, which is going to attract more than 2,000 crore investment in the 300 acres that has been designated. One advantage the Kurnool drone city is going to have in Andhra Pradesh is that it is going to have a dedicated sandbox. One challenge we are finding with the drone industry is that once they product, it is very difficult for them to go and test it. They need a wide, vast area of land which is all free from all the limitations, so that they can test the drone perfectly. So that sandbox ecosystem where they can test their drones is what we are going to cater for in the Kurnool drone city. So that is a very interesting area for investment. And these are some of the concepts. And one future technology that everyone should concentrate on, and which India is also trying to get a lead on, is the eVTOLs, electrical vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. This is going to be the future. And the huge market and capacity is there in India, especially in the urban cities where traffic management is becoming an issue day and day. And there is a huge challenge of expanding the roads or widening the roads there because of existing challenges. So the important intervention we want to bring in is eVTOLs. And if you are there in the session yesterday, Honorable Chief Minister has given a deadline that within 2 years he wants to see them in the country. And the one reason he has put the deadline is because I am the minister who is handling it. He has taken the goodwill of announcing it, but we are very much on track. We are very much on track for seeing eVTOLs in the country within 2 years, but that is a very strategic and important area of investment that people can look into. So technology, future technologies like drones and eVTOLs, manufacturing and MRO ecosystem, these are some of the other verticals in aviation which are continuously going to grow, and we are going to see huge investment in that area. And one thing that we are specifically concentrating on the ministry. Now I've given you the growth statistics, I've given you what the future is going to look like. What is required now? We need people. We need skilled people, we need trained people, we need pilots, we need cabin crew, we need engineers, we need ground handling systems. We need all the ecosystems to be powered by people. Unless you continuously train them for the requirement that you have, the growth that you are trying to see, the growth that you are going to foresee is not going to be achieved. I'll just give you one example on how we are going to tackle this skilled ecosystem or skilling and training. The FTOs, which is the flying training organizations which creates the pilots. The number of pilots today is roughly around 8,000. I think around 2,000-3,000 are not actively in the operations. We have 1,700 aircraft orders right now pending in the country. Let it be with Airbus or Boeing, 1,700 aircrafts. We have 834 aircrafts which are operational in the country. So more than double that we have orders yet to come. And to run one plane, one aircraft in a proper schedule, you will need at least 10 to 15 pilots per aircraft so that they can do the routes according to their schedule. So 1,700 planes, 10 to 15 pilots, the requirement would be around 25 to 30,000 that is going to be generated. Now as these planes come in, imagine 30,000 pilots, that is the demand that is there right now. And how do you do it? With the existing FTOs, they can only produce a limited number. So we want to expand the FTO network. And I'm very happy to say that in Andhra Pradesh itself, we are starting 4 new FTOs, 2 in Kurnool Airport. Today we just had an MOU for Rajahmundry Airport. There is one interested party for Vijayawada Airport, and we are going to do that more and more. So training and skilling is one area which is very, very attractive area for investment, and also someone with that interest to deal into. So ground pilot training, ground handling, engineers, all these sectors there is a huge requirement. And there is also another problem in that area which we have to tackle it right now. The Gulf, the countries which are surrounding, they are also expanding now. They all see that aviation has a huge multiplier effect. One job in aviation creates 6 jobs in other sectors. it has a direct impact in other sectors. One job you create in aviation, 6 other jobs get created in the economy. This is IATA's figure of 1:6 multiplier, but when they came and saw India, the Indian multiplier effect is 15. One job is in aviation is creating 15 jobs in the direct and indirect sectors. So that kind of impact aviation has, it is very important for us to train our individuals and to have the skilling and training and ecosystem also perfectly done in the country. So these are various aspects that we are looking into. And on top of that, cargo, today has been a very special day for aviation. Cargo, we are starting the Visakhapatnam International Cargo with APIIC, I-Class and APTPC. Thanks to all of them who have come together and going to start the Visakhapatnam Air Cargo today. And also we have started the flight operations from Vijayawada to Singapore today. Today was the first flight that happened. We couldn't go because the session was here, but there was huge excitement for people who were coming from Singapore and especially Australia or west coast of the United States of America. They were finding it very challenging to come to this side of the country. And now with the connection of Singapore to Vijayawada, that is going to be a huge beneficial for the international diaspora, the Indian diaspora that is there in Singapore. Vijayawada connected to Singapore now. Visakhapatnam we have connected to Abu Dhabi. There are many more requests, but we are going to take some time because the biggest necessity in the market today is aircrafts. We don't have the aircrafts to cater for the demand, but as and when the situation improves, definitely the connectivity in Andhra also we are going to improve. Earlier there was no direct connectivity from Rajahmundry to Delhi or Bombay. We have done it in the last 1 year. Tirupati, Delhi was not there. We have done it in the last year. And many different sectors where there was a huge demand of connecting, we have done it in the last 1 year. And in the future also, we are going to grow the domestic connectivity and the international connectivity. And likewise, when Bhogapuram is going to come, we are envisioning, we are talking with the airlines, so the international connectivity and the domestic connectivity improves to many other destinations. And I am also happy to say Umeshji from TrueJet is also here. He is also willing to start a new airline, and we are going to keep Visakhapatnam Bhogapuram as the hub. He is going to start his operations with 3 Airbus from February. I am announcing it so that it gets done on time. So 3 Airbus from TrueJet services are going to start again. We are very excited because right now you see, and this is the complaint which I also get always, that it is Air India or Indigo, this is the only 2 travelers that are there. But I've been constantly trying to promote the Indian aviation industry, and I'm giving you one statement which gives you the size of capacity that India has today. We have the size to operate 3 Indigos. Indigo has the maximum number of aircrafts up to 400. We can have 3 airline operators at the size of Indigo. And we can have at least 5 operators operating in the country with 100 airlines each. So that is the capacity that we have. Even though we are restricted to 2 players now, we from the ministry are actively engaging with the industry to improve the situation. We want more airlines to come in. But there is a common joke that gets around, how do you become a millionaire? You take a billionaire and then you start an airline, they become a millionaire. This is the joke that is going around. But it is just a joke, but this is the time when you can start an airline. There are multiple people who are starting airlines today. We are seeing small airlines that are there. Star Air is one, India One Air is one, Flybig is one. So there are multiple airline operators who are starting with 3, 5 aircrafts, 10 aircrafts, and they are doing wonderful business, operating between tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So this is the time, if anyone is willing to start an airline also, this is the time. And I am telling you that I will give you all the support that is required for you from the ministry and from the government. And this is the time where people have to come in. People have to involve themselves in the growth story of aviation. Aviation is no longer to the cities. Aviation is no longer only to the luxury or the elite. Aviation is the story of each and every Indian, 140 crore people of this country. And very soon we are going to make it happen. And for that, Andhra is going to be the hub of aviation. So we have the airports that are there, 7 airports. And you know how Honorable Chief Minister works. He understands the true potential of aviation. 7, another 7 he wants to add. Like I've said, small and medium airports which feed into these hub airports, he wants to add another 7 airports. He wants to create a skill aviation university. So we have only one university in the country, which is Rajiv Gandhi University in Uttar Pradesh. The second one is going to come here with international standards. We are trying to have partnerships. GMR is also working with it. And we are trying to have international partnerships with the best aviation schools across the world. bring in that expertise so that we can have an aviation school here also. I've talked about the FTOs, 4 FTOs